Norway's James Bond Bridge. On this video, I'll take you to see it for real as part of a road trip along part of Norway's amazing Atlantic coast. We'll take in some stunning views from the road, water, and the heights.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
I can claim many things, but not that. Our journey starts just north of Trondheim at the airport. We'll head down the Norwegian coast and with the help of a ferry reach that James Bond Bridge. After that, another ferry at Molde and an iconic view over Alesund. As we pass through Trondheim and head into the Norwegian countryside, a quiz question. Why is the Norwegian flag coloured red, white and blue? Been a pleasant drive down from Trondheim. The weather is glorious and it's taken us about 2 hours to get to here. Travelling around Norway, ferries are a big part of your journey. On our next ferry ride on this film, I'll tell you how I paid for them and take you inside as well. I thought unfortunately there'd be nowhere to get a view out across the fjord, but there is this little ramp for some cars up here and there is a chance for a bit of a view. It's only a pretty quick ferry trip, so I need to get back to the car and get back on the road. I have to admit, I was lucky with the weather. It was only on the final day of my road trip, which you'll see in a future video, that the rain closed in. I'm sure there is a lot more to see in Kristiansund, but I had a schedule to keep to. A little bit of time for a quick break, and then we're going to head across the Atlantic Way, which many of you will have seen made famous by James Bond and a few car adverts. The Atlantic Way has been on my bucket list for some time. The 8.3 kilometre, just over 5 mile road connects up a series of islands with dramatic bridges, including the one we've come to see. Before we go over the bridge, time to get a view of the bridge. Oh, and it's heaving with people. If you're wondering which Bond film this scene is from, it's the chase from the most recent one, A Time to Die. As you can see, the barrier behind me was dropped a touch, so you can step over, come along and take this view. While this is a special view, for me it was all about the drive, which was spectacular. A bucket list must. Before long though, we dropped down to Molde for another ferry ride. Another ferry, this time out of Molde, which we only got a very quick glimpse of. And when we get to the other side, it's a drive off to our final destination around Alesund. I paid for the ferries and tunnels through my hire car company. They billed me for the cost a few days after the trip. If you use your own car on the ferries, this is how you will pay. I will detail how much the hire car cost me for my journey in the final video of this trip. So to not miss out on my entire journey and that, hit subscribe now. Later in this video, one of the best views of the day, which was from my hotel room at the back of the building. Norway's kinda like that. Initially, my journey took us past Alesund as I wanted to head back to the coast, first to see a church begun in the 12th century. So the reason why I wanted to come briefly to this church on the road trip is this church is pretty unique. It's made of marble. Have a look. Often when I go somewhere, I always believe it's important to turn back around and look at the view from that building. I wasn't disappointed here. I had a view of where I was about to go. There's been a lighthouse on this point apparently since 1853. Still looks pretty impressive today, but this is as far sort of towards the ocean as we're going to go on this entire road trip, and certainly today, because we're going to, for the final part, head into Ålesund and take you to one of the more well-known viewing points anywhere in Norway. I've left the final part of this drive at normal speed because I loved the little hint of the view over Ålesund that I'm about to take in. A great tease. As you'll have just seen, it cost me 100 Norwegian crowns, about £8, £9 or so, to come in and get this view. But what a view. And they wonder why men live shorter lives than women? This is a view towards Fjord. A link to a video of my journey there on a Hortin ship is on the screen now. Spoiler alert, the weather tried but didn't spoil it. Remember that quiz question from earlier? Yeah, I just about do as well. Well, the answer, the colour of the Norwegian flag, is said to have been inspired by a connection to liberty and freedom in countries like the USA and France. So that is the view about a minute's walk from the hotel. This is the hotel. I think I've done pretty well this time. Put the details on screen now of exactly how much the room here at the hotel has actually cost me. Made it to the hotel room. Been a long old day. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video as much as I've enjoyed making it and travelling the distances. The distance that I've travelled is on the screen now. And just leaves me really to show you the room before I prepare for tomorrow's trip, which you'll see in the next video on this channel. And finally then, the view. The most important thing. What's the view like? Well, I don't have the view of the fjord, but I have a pretty good view anyway. For more videos on my time in Norway, a link to a playlist is on the screen now.